Welcome back to another episode of Portal Bonanza. I'm Austin Getchy, joined by Kyle Kerr. And Kyle, we are past the first and second rounds of NCAA Tournament. We have a little bit of a break in the action from the real basketball, so we can talk about the Portal now for a few days before we go back to watching basketball. So, how
Very
was
refreshing.
your weekend of watching basketball?
I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't watching every game really. I was watching here and there. I was watching games that stood out to me. Grand Canyon, Alabama was enjoyable.
Hmm.
I liked that game. Colorado Marquette was enjoyable. I
That
liked
was a
that
good
game.
one.
A&M, Houston got good at the end. I caught the end of that game. It was
Yep,
a
same.
crazy ending. That a
Yeah,
rolled bounce pass.
yeah.
I don't know
And
how they got through, but I had a feeling
when
Houston would still pull it out. And
yeah, Ryan
Wade
Elvin
Taylor,
hit some clutch free throw.
I saw that. Yeah, Wade Taylor did everything in his power to play for Houston to lose the game. It was pretty incredible. But yeah, no, yesterday's games were not great, but I
Yeah.
think it's really refreshing to have the portal really pick up right now,
Hmm.
and it's a real good change of pace. And with all the
Yeah.
new coaching hires too.
Hmm. Yeah. And in the tournament, a lot of the top seeds have been winning, which maybe takes some enjoyment out, but these next few weeks are
It
going to
should
be
be good.
some really good games.
It
If
should be good.
Despite not being like a ton of upsets in the second round, that means we're going to have some great Sweet 16, great Elite Eight games with really high quality teams. But before we start talking about a portal, I have to mention your New Mexico jersey. You did wear a New Mexico jersey signed by Dave Bliss. I don't have any words for that. How did that happen?
So yeah, I went on eBay. I do a tradition every year. I have my matter of fact, we can even move it over here. My New Mexico State Pascal Siakam jersey over there. So I have a tradition every year of if there's a mid-major, it makes a tournament that I like to get behind. I get their jersey. And getting a New Mexico jersey was a little since it's on the other side of the country for me, and the shipping was going to be really close. Because
Mhm.
New Mexico had to wait till the very last day to that I knew that it would make the tournament. So I didn't want to order this jersey and not have them in the field. So I went on eBay, saw this jersey that was autographed, looked pretty cool. And I ordered it. I'm like, you know what? It's gonna be the only way I get a hold of a legit New Mexico jersey. I could have went on DH Gate and I would have waited for months. I tried to get one of the blue jerseys, but that
Those
wasn't
ones
gonna
are nice.
happen.
I think they have some in a team store, but like I don't know how those
They're
like
not on sale anymore, I don't
yeah,
think, and they're not
yeah,
like actual jerseys, really.
yeah,
They're just like pennies, and so is that one kind of, but. Um,
yeah,
that's probably the best I could have done, even though it
yeah,
has that
yeah. But
autograph on there. But there's probably a
not
reason
really
that,
who you want your jersey to be autographed by.
yeah, there's probably a reason that person in New Mexico was trying to get rid of that because he probably can't wear that around those parts. At least
Well,
on the East Coast, I can.
hopefully no one. Yeah. Did you wear it out in public or anything?
I did.
Hopefully no one knew who Dave Bliss
No,
was.
no, I did.
Yeah, no one really does unless they're college
From the
basketball fan,
area.
but not exactly who you want to be wearing if people know who it is.
I'm the fraud of March. So.
Dave Dave Bliss, for those who don't know, he was the Baylor coach when there was a murder on the team there. Back before that was like kind of when Scott Drew took over. He took over Drew took over after Bliss, which was why it's so impressive that Baylor is good now coming in the situation he stepped in. But that's besides the point because we have a lot of portal stuff to talk about. We ranked our top 30 players from whenever we did our last episode to today, maybe Wednesday, I think Tuesday, maybe somewhere in there. But we have a long list of players, lots of players that we left out that are really good. But we do have some commitments to touch on first. Today's Charlotte big man Dishon Jackson, he committed to Iowa State. Cyclones are in a tournament run right now, but the portal doesn't stop and they couldn't wait around to get him. So they got him. I know I think we're both pretty big on Deshaun Jackson in
I
general.
think it was a
Stemming back,
perfect fit for him, man.
yes,
His rim protection, his energy is just going to be so good
yes.
on
The
drives.
energy is the thing that really stuck out to me. I feel like a lot of times when I watch him, he has a lot of energy. I always say they play with tons of intensity. That's been their main thing the
Their
past few
calling card for
years.
sure.
Yeah. Virginia Tech guard Rodney Rice, not with the team this year, but was on the team last year. Wasn't anywhere this year. He committed to Maryland. I thought he might commit to Old Dominion because of they hired Mike Jones, which was the coach that was the reason that Rodney Rice went to Virginia Tech. But if that didn't happen, he would have gone to Maryland for sure anyway. So not a super shocker here.
Yeah, being, he's probably going to be the number one option on a Power Five school.
I we'll see. I mean,
Who's coming back? That would be.
I don't know, but Maryland's. There's still a lot of
There
stuff.
is,
I shot. I
yeah.
got Jacoby Gillespie on a visit the other day.
I mean, there's a lot of comp for him. I don't know.
Yeah, they got him on a visit though, which is
That's good.
it's good. But yeah, we'll see. We haven't seen much of Bryce, but when we saw him, he's been pretty decent. So see if he can take a step
High
up.
ceiling. Yeah.
Yeah. AJ McKee, Queens guard, committed to Milwaukee
I love that
following Bart
fit,
Lundy.
actually.
Yes, Bart Lundy was the Queens coach before, and he's now at Milwaukee. But yeah, I really like this because McKee is like a star mid-major player, and he's going to a school where he can still be a star. Like
And it's
a
just
lot
the
of these
style
guys.
that Queens played. It's just like
Yes,
so like that's what they do in Milwaukee now. It's like
yeah.
the shot creating
Obviously
guards
with
that spread the
the
floor.
coaching, it's all in the same kind of coaching tree. But yeah,
Lots of freedom. Which
yes.
it's a really fun and entertaining offensive system. And I think AJ
Yeah.
McKee will really thrive in that. He's really good.
Yeah,
So
it's nice that he'll go to Milwaukee and score like the same amount of points that
oh,
Queen instead of going to
definitely.
high major and scoring like 5 points a game.
That's right.
Kind of refreshing to see sometimes. People go where they can still make a big impact. The grass isn't always greener, but the grass will be very green for AJ McKee at Milwaukee. Indiana big man Peyton Sparks, he's going back to Ball State. I like this one. He was dominant at Ball State. Couldn't really fit into a role at Indiana. They had some good big men in front of him, but I think he'll pick up right where he left off
Like
back
you
at Ball
said
State.
last week, Indiana's a dream school for a lot of people that go to Ball
Yeah,
State.
he's the
So
Indiana kid.
he had to
You
see
can't
how it
pass
was
up.
gonna go, and then, he took what he got from the skier, and it's like, you know what, let me just cut my losses and go back, and
Mhm.
be who I was 2 years ago.
Yes. Troy D'Amico, Southern Illinois forward. He is off to DePaul following head coach Brian Mullins, who I think was a great assistant hire for DePaul. He
I
was a
love it.
legitimately like good head coach. I think
Especially when like your
um,
assistants complement what your head coach does well. Like,
yes.
Holtman's an offensive guy. Then you bring in Mullins, who's an elite defensive guy.
Yeah.
So you
Almost
kind of
like
have
a
the best of
defensive
both worlds.
coordinator.
All right,
But yeah,
exactly.
D'Amico himself should be a solid like ninth man. I hope he is the ninth man and not like a higher up in the
Yeah,
rotation. But I think he was
he's
pretty
okay.
solid. Kind of came in down the stretch. Good scoring ability
Can
from
shoot,
can shoot a little
think.
bit for his size. I think should be a fine player. I just hope that they get some bigger names
Hope he's
because
not starting.
yeah, that would not be great personally. Um, Robert Davis Jr., UMass freshman. He is off to Old Dominion. Didn't do a ton freshman year, but played a lot of games, showed some flashes, showed some shooting ability. I think this will be a great pickup.
It will be for sure.
Um, Ole Miss freshman big Rashad Marshall is headed to Arkansas State. Big get for Brian Hodgson. He continues to roll on the recruiting trail. He is recruiting Arkansas State like no other. We didn't see much of Marshall this year, but he was like a top 100 guy a year ago. I don't think you can go wrong with this.
They still have Isaiah Nelson too.
I
I
don't know
liked
what
him.
their eligibility is like.
Uh,
Uh, do they still have it? They might. I don't. Yeah, I think he's still there, unless you don't recall
he
him.
was a great rim
Portal.
protector. He got really
Yeah,
good
and I
towards the
mean
end of the
he was a
year.
sophomore. I think he's still there. Um,
They should have some great big man depth this year to help that defense out. So that's good.
yes, and the last pickup is Noah Bachelor, a Maryland guard, committed to Buffalo. Didn't do much at a high major level, but Buffalo was a program that was honestly terrible last year. They're not in a good place. I think this is a pretty solid addition for them.
Yeah, should be a good place for him to flourish, hopefully.
Yeah. So do we want to get into our top 30?
Let's do it.
That's
Think there should be, let's see how close we can get our list to being in common. Let's start out
okay.
with some honorable mentions. I have four.
Okay.
Um,
So I made like a big list, so I can
Go
definitely
ahead.
list off some
So I have Zach
honorable
Anderson as
mentions.
an honorable mention
Okay. I
from
didn't even
Florida
have him
Gulf
on
Coast.
here, but
I have
he
Tyler Cochran from Toledo.
yes, he was close to making
I
lists for
have
me.
Amari Abram from Georgia Tech,
Okay.
just because didn't get a lot of minutes.
I didn't know what to do with him. I didn't have him on
Yeah,
here,
I was
but
going to put him top
like
30,
I don't
but
even
I
know what
couldn't.
happened with him this year.
I don't
But
either.
I
He's
think he's
supposed to
good
be
if he
good. I do too.
I thought he
I
was
was
gonna be
very
really
high
good.
on him.
I
Yeah.
thought he was gonna be like a draft pick arguably after
Yeah.
this year. But
And then I have Brendan Wenzel from Wyoming. Someone I
yeah,
definitely like 6'7" on the wing. He had some games where he could really shoot the ball. He could defend.
yeah,
I like Wenzel a lot.
yeah. I'll list off some guys I had. I had Jalen Anderson from Ball State, just outside. Good point guard, put up some solid numbers after playing a few years at some good Loyola Marymount teams. Gibson Jimerson, who I like really wanted to put on here, but I couldn't find a spot for him.
His
He's going to be
stock
a
has
really
fallen
good.
for
He's going
me,
to be a really good role player next year,
but
wherever he
yeah,
is.
for
Like he's a
sure.
perfect role player as long as he doesn't try to do too much. He's a perfect guy to just bring in and
He's a good
shoot the
guy for
rock.
honorable mention. I didn't think of him. Yeah.
Yes. Austin Mason is another guy. I just couldn't find space on my list, but I mean, he's a really good scorer. Definitely probably going to go back up to the high major level.
I have him
Um,
very high, but we'll
oh,
go
let's off
ahead.
one more guy. Dante Maddox from Toledo. All
Yeah.
three Toledo guys entered were all pretty close to making it for me, but I didn't get any of them in my top 30.
I had one of them in my, actually, I have Maddox at 29, so I have two.
Okay. Okay.
I Cochran missed though.
Okay. Okay. So let's see. Do we want to go into number 30? Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I got Sincere Malone from Eastern Illinois at number 30.
Really?
I could have put him higher. I still think he's got things he can work on. Like what he is. He's like a rim runner, really good in the passing lanes, really
I don't
disruptive
know
on
if I can get with this.
defense.
He averaged 4 points on a bad team.
Yeah, I don't know like why he didn't play more, but like I still believe in him. I don't know. It was really confusing because he was a really highly regarded guy in the portal last year, if you remember correctly. And then he went back to Eastern Illinois and
Yeah.
like he didn't play. But like he's still like he had a lot of really good film. He's really good size. He's really good on defense. Just offensively, he's very raw. So like
Mhm.
I feel like if a decent mid-major takes a chance on him, has more of a culture, they can mold him into something pretty good. Um, so I don't know. Eastern Illinois is just so terrible. And obviously he's on that team, but I don't think he was really a part of why they were that terrible. Um, that's just
Yeah.
me.
Definitely not someone I would have had super high, but the potential could be there. Physical, good on defense. Just I don't think I would
I
have him
don't watch
super
Eastern
close.
Illinois, so I don't know what was going on, but
I don't think anyone does. But number 30 for me was if I can pull it up, MJ Amy for San Jose State. Really solid combo guard there, could score the ball. Had a good year after I believe he was limited by injuries last year and
yeah.
only played a few games. Um, really good bounce back season though. Averaged 16 points per game, decent efficiency. San Jose State obviously took a pretty big step back, but um, definitely think he can be a solid pickup. Might still have 2 more years of eligibility. Don't know if he got last year back for sure or not, but
Hmm.
yeah.
And at 29, I have Dante Maddox, like I said. And at 28, I have
Well,
Ali of.
I had someone at
Oh, all
29.
right. Go
But yeah,
ahead.
Maddox, good shooter. Was the most efficient out of Toledo's players. Um, but yeah, 29, I have Devo Davis. He was pretty bad this year. Can't really cover that up, but there are definitely reasons to be excited about maybe a potential add to your team next year. He's traditionally been a pretty solid defensive player. Um, and he's shown flashes, just has struggled with consistency a lot, but he's been a solid player for 4 years at the high major level. Started up most games every season at Arkansas. So I think if he gets in the right fit,
He's very
then
fit dependent for me. Like if
yes,
he's in the wrong fit, he is not going to be good.
I can get
But
with that. But if he's in the right fit, he can be really good.
you know where's a good spot for him? Just a fast pace, up tempo, Miami. They kind of need a point guard right now. Um, Devo can give you a
Potentially.
really good defense. He can, obviously he does turn the ball over. He's a little erratic at times, but he will push the tempo and he would be a good fit there. I actually think
Mhm.
he's good for what they do. So
Potentially.
that's I probably should have had Devo as an honorable, but what are you gonna do?
Hmm.
A lot of risk with him, but it could be worth
Yes.
it.
Yeah. So yeah, 28.
I have Ali Abdu Diva from Abilene Christian. 6'4", combo guard, pretty solid efficiency. Think he'll translate up well. Maybe not a crazy good power five or maybe just a mid plus, but I still think he's a pretty good player. I like him. I think I've maybe watched him once. I don't know, but
Yeah, he was on my long list of players. Definitely brings a lot of um brings some solid defense on the wing. Can make shots, can get to the rim. Not a great shooter, but
He's not long
definitely someone who
distance.
was
Yeah,
a pretty good mid-major player. Can maybe go up to high major level, but probably still gonna be a mid-major player. I
yeah,
think.
probably.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I think
he
mid
was on my
plus.
longer list. At 28, though, I had Sebastian Thomas for Albany. Really good this year. The thing keeping me from having him much higher was that he was pretty bad both years he
From
played at
three,
Rhode Island.
and he's not a
Um,
great 3-point shooter. Um,
yeah, he was not great, but
29% or something like that.
no, but he was a good passer, really not like a super efficient scorer, but not like extremely inefficient compared to how he was last year, considering he took way more shots. So I'm really intrigued to see what he does, but I think he could definitely find a role somewhere. I mean, I don't know. I'm just like the Rhode Island thing. Like he was so bad there, but he was really good at Albany. So
Players
I
can
just
evolve.
yes. We'll see what we get from him, but I think he's definitely ready for at least a step back up to the mid plus level at the very
For
least.
sure, at the very least. Um, so at 27, that's where I have Myron Amy Jr.
Okay.
Um,
So
and then what do you have at 27?
yeah, 27, I have Connor Sejan. Don't really know what happened with him this year, but he was really good last
He
year.
was.
Just kind of don't know what we're gonna get from him, but I mean, if he had like another year like he did last year, he'd probably be top 5 on this list, but you
Yeah,
just don't know. Didn't
and I
really,
think he fell out of the rotation because he wasn't making shots, and
yeah.
he's
I mean, the beginning of
defensively
the
he's very
year,
limited. He was hurt as well.
yeah, at the beginning of the year he was hurt and like maybe just didn't get the chance to work back in,
He
but
screwed up his rhythm for sure.
yeah, but he
That
was
does happen.
really good last
He
year. Like
was, for
for a
what it's worth.
freshman, he was a solid Big Ten starter. So
He was.
I think you definitely take him. I don't think he just lost everything he had.
I hope not.
Yeah, hopefully
Um,
not. But
but yeah, so at 26, I actually have Myron Amy Jr.'s teammate, who I actually like a little more. It's Garrett
okay.
Anderson. I'm a big Garrett Anderson fan. I think he translate up to the next level very well. Really good shooter. He can really score from all three levels. I've watched him a lot. He can drive. He's physical. He's got a good frame. I think Power Fives, if they really watch their film on Garrett Anderson, are really going to like him. I think he can definitely take that jump, and I think he translates maybe even a little bit better than Amy because of his size. So,
You might be confusing him with Trey Anderson.
oh wait, where's Garrett Anderson play then?
He's at San Jose State, but I think you're thinking of Trey Anderson, who also, I don't know if he entered the portal too. I don't think he
I
did. I
thought it
don't know
was
if he.
Garrett. That was the good one.
No, Trey Anderson's a little better. Yeah, he's definitely out of eligibility, but he was, yeah.
Let me see. Oh, I didn't even know they were brothers on the same team. What
I
the
don't know if
hell?
they're, I don't know if they're
Oh,
related.
wait a minute. Now I'm remembering him.
No, I don't think they're related, but
Okay. That's weird. I gotta look that up my damn self.
yeah, yeah, definitely don't think you meant
Okay.
to have Garrett Anderson
Wait a
on
bit. Oh,
there.
oh yeah, no. Trey Anderson was a good one, and I actually liked him a lot. That's a shame. He's out of eligibility. He's been there for a little while.
Yeah, and he was at
Um,
like South Carolina before that.
oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, just pulled it up now, so that's why I have that. But yeah, you can just
Yeah, I
pretend
got
like
them
one of your honorable
confused.
mentions made it. But so who do you have at 20, or is that your 26?
That's 26.
Okay, so 26, I have Cam Carter, from Kansas State. Not a huge Cam Carter guy myself, but he
Yeah,
definitely had his
me either.
flashes. Fell off a little bit down the stretch, but same time he put up some pretty big numbers at a high major. Definitely think he
Mm,
can impact at a similar level. Um, Definitely want to clean up his efficiency, but he was, I mean, he fell off a little bit at the end of the year, but
improve that
at the
outside shooting.
at the beginning of the year was a solid, very consistent scorer. So, I mean, I think he can just fit in right at the same level.
I agree. Sebastian Thomas at 25.
All right. 25, I have Jamal Mashburn Jr. I don't love him as much as I love New Mexico, but I mean, still will be a very desired player in the portal, can really get buckets from the mid range, not overly efficient, not a great defender, and is sort of limited besides scoring, but he's been a key to the success of New Mexico the past few years. And I think if he gets the right role, I mean, I think he can be a really good scorer somewhere. Somewhere was way better last year, honestly. Was a little injured at times earlier this year that might have factored into it, and not having as much volume with Dent breaking out. But I think Mashburn can definitely find a good spot somewhere.
I think he's best as an off the bench scorer. I think
Yeah, like six
that's
man, like
definitely something he'd be really good.
yeah, like if you put him on a really good team as a six
That's
man, just
how New
come in, get
Mexico
some
should have used
buckets.
him.
Yeah.
He was
So
just in
who?
such a weird role. I would have
Yeah,
started Jamarl Baker. They started starting Jamarl Baker in the Mountain West tourney, and it turned out great. It just took so long for
that's true.
Patino to make that move for some reason.
Yeah, and I mean it's tough when he like averaged like 20 points a game almost the year
I know.
before.
Yeah, we're very
You really want to
attached to
come off
him.
the bench, and but I do agree. Who'd you have at 24?
So I have Elijah Fisher from DePaul.
Okay, I can get with that.
I think he can be a really solid guard somewhere else. I don't entirely know where he'd go, but I think
Yeah,
he'll stay at the Power Five level. I don't think he
yeah,
was extremely terrible.
I think you should.
He could go to a mid plus too, but I mean, who
Yeah,
knows?
yeah. I mean he reclassed, so he was basically a freshman this year in terms of age wise.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, he's very physical, very athletic. Obviously, DePaul was bad, but he was a player that I would definitely still be interested in keeping around at a high major level. I think there's still a lot to unlock there, and especially if he gets in a really good situation, I feel like he could be
Oh, for sure.
very good. But at 24, I had Trayvon Spillers, Appalachian State forward. He was really good, probably their best player this year. Not my highest App State guy in the list, but I think he was their
Hmm.
best player. Was really efficient, really good rebounder, solid on defense. I definitely wonder about the size and how that will go up to the high major level because he's not really much of a perimeter player. And he's even though he's
That's why I
very
left him
physical,
off. I
yeah,
think he kind of is a big byproduct of how App State plays and that they were in a conference that doesn't have a lot of size. So if he
yes,
goes up to the Power Five level, he's going to be in that in-between spot where he's a really weird role. And you
yes,
just worry about where he'd fit.
yeah,
Is he a four? Is he a three? Is he a
yeah, or like a
five? Like,
yeah.
you just don't know. But
Yeah, I definitely see that, but regardless, was a really good
he
player coming out
was.
of JUCO this year. Definitely think someone can definitely use him to be a very good player.
So at 23, I have Amari Marshall, another Albany
Okay,
guy. I like him and how he translates a little bit more. Maybe didn't have the output that Sebastian Thomas had, but he's a little bit of a better shooter. Um, he was really promising at Hofstra, but he really got the platform to break out this year. We both
yes,
had him breaking out this year, and
yes,
he
yes.
definitely did that.
Oh, absolutely.
Um, I think he's going to fit in at a Power Five this year. I really think he is ready for that. Um,
I can see that.
Even off the bench, great scorer to have off the bench. And
Hmm.
there's room for guys like that.
Yeah, he was in my list of honorable mentions. Definitely really see the potential with him. Really liked him coming into Albany and definitely met my expectations I had set for him this year. Um, Yeah, definitely think his scoring can translate back up after kind of being buried in Hofstra's guards because they had so many good
No,
guards last
no.
year. So wasn't really much spot space for him to show what he could do. But yeah, he's shown what
hmm
he can do. Definitely can go back up a level. Um, Number 23 though, I had Atten Wright for Drake. Was a solid second option this year. Can really score the ball, pretty efficient, translated well up from a bad team, which I did like. Don't know if he's going to go to West Virginia or not. I think I'd like him to stay at the mid plus because he's like a 6'1" shooting guard, which kind of raises a
In the
little bit
Big
of red
12,
flags.
yeah, that is a
Yeah, I mean,
red flag.
I think it could make it work, but I would
I wouldn't want him starting. I'll say that much.
yes. He's was really good at Drake this year. Though was probably their best player in the tournament game. Yeah, think someone's definitely going to get a good player with out of him, whether it's be Darian DeVries at West Virginia or someone else.
I agree. I have Raheem Moss at 22 from Toledo. Has the best size of the Toledo guards. Was pretty efficient. And I like the way he translates up, especially with his ability to score the basketball. So
Okay. Number 22, I had Matt Alaco from Princeton. He is ultra efficient, 50, 40, 90 guy. Can't really pass up on that.
sure,
Should be a solid like third, fourth, fifth option, sixth option at a high major. Think he can really translate that. Believe he has solid size.
that's what
Um,
I worried about with him. I didn't have him on here. I didn't
okay.
think his size was great.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Size, I guess. Was actually better passer this year too. So maybe he can play that combo guard role somewhere.
Well,
The
teams always do
efficiency
need
is,
shooting.
yeah,
So they are going to be all over that.
he is extremely efficient from all three
Let's just
levels.
say he's on there instead of Garrett Anderson at 26. I think it's a decent spot for him.
Okay.
So at 21 is where I have Cam Carter.
Okay.
Again, not the biggest Cam Carter fan, but he did start off the season really well. He tailed off a bit. Needs to work on his 3-point shot. Pretty good from the
Yeah.
mid range. But and I like him on defense too. He's a very good defender. So,
Yes.
um, yeah, I mean, I like him. I think he'd be
Yeah.
good at a Power Five somewhere.
Yeah. 21 for me. I have a guy who does not need to work on his 3-point shot, and that is Colby Rogers. He is a elite 3-point shooter. Wichita State isn't great, but Rogers can really shoot it from deep. He can really put up some buckets. Um, Wichita State wasn't the best, but Rogers has was great this year. Can't really put any of their bad performances on him.
No.
He can really shoot the ball. High majors are going to want that shooting. And I mean, he can really score the ball in general too. Like he's not
Yeah.
just a shooter, can
Mhm.
score from all three levels, even though he's best utilized from beyond the arc. I definitely really like him.
Yeah, he's a name I glossed over. At 20, I have Layden Blocker from Arkansas.
Okay.
Um, love his potential. I kind of,
I
he's like
really
an
like Blocker.
in-between role, as far as size goes. Like you just don't, isn't he like what, 6'4"? Maybe a little
Yeah,
bigger than
he's like
that.
a combo guard. He's like 6'2", but he's like a combo guard, I would
Yeah, he's
say.
like a 6'2", 6'3" guy that's really good on defense, high energy
Yes, he
guy. His
plays with a ton of
offensive
energy.
game is very raw right
Yeah.
now.
And he was
But
a
he can get a lot
freshman.
better.
He was in a bad situation, I think. Arkansas was just
It was.
uh,
But I really like his upside. I could have even put
absolutely.
him higher, but I just, I got to see more of those offensive skills.
Yes.
So
I did have him slightly higher. We'll get to that soon. 20 for me though, I had Ante Berzovic from Charlotte, or not Charlotte, Charleston. Um, yeah, very solid big man, very skilled, has some skilled inside scoring moves, good passer for his
yeah, really
size,
skilled.
and was kind of the go-to guy for Charleston this year. When they need a bucket, you can get to him. Yeah, really skilled under the basket. I think he could definitely be utilized by high major programs with his
Yeah.
size, his skill.
It
I
was
think
kind of
that looks
concerning
perfect.
for me, his efficiency, because he does
Yeah,
play in the post. He's
he's
like
not ultra
48%.
efficient.
Like I was
He,
actually going to put him on here. I looked up his stats. Like I was like, oh, Berzovic has got to be on here. Then I kind of looked. I'm like, really? He's not efficient at all?
yeah, he's not.
And he's not like a
Oh,
perimeter big, really, either.
no,
That's
I
what
mean
was
he does take
confusing.
some tough shots, so
Yeah.
I think it kind of goes both ways, but you would like to
Charleston
see him
definitely ran a lot of
be more
stuff through
efficient.
him.
Yes.
So I get that. High
Hmm.
volume. So at 19 is where I have Jamal Mashburn Jr.
Okay.
Again, I'm not huge on him. I just have him a couple spots higher. Um, I just worry where he goes. I worry that he's a Kentucky Wildcat. That's where his
Yeah,
father
yeah,
went.
absolutely. I could see
Um,
that.
and man, that program is such a mess right now. And
Yes, it
he
is.
has the same weaknesses that Kentucky has had the last 2 years. He does not take good shots. Shot selection is
Doesn't
not
play
good,
defense.
and he does not play defense. So he does fit what Kentucky seems to like to do right now. So um fits like a glove.
For better or worse, it does. 19, I had Dion Brown from UMBC. He was really good this year as a sophomore, really good volume score, really efficient at that. Um, I don't know what level he's going to move up to, but I think he can probably play at the power conference level. Was really consistent, really scored some big points this year. UMBC was playing pretty good at the end of the season, and he was a huge catalyst for that. I mean, can't really go wrong with him. I think he's going to get a lot of big time interest.
Yeah, I was wondering why UMBC was like competitive towards the end of the season. I bet he was why. Like I didn't even bother to look at
Yeah.
anyone
I mean,
from
he was
UMBC
good
on
all
this list.
season. He was good all season, but that probably started
So at
clicking.
18 is where I have Atten Wright. I think
Okay.
Atten Wright is he exceeded my expectations this year for sure. Um, thought he contributed very positively to Drake's success, and he was kind of part of the reason I was very high on them this year. Of course, they disappointed. Um, but at the same time, I think he can play at a power five, be like a bench scorer. Could go to West Virginia, could go to maybe like an ACC school of some kind. I don't know. Um, and he could be really a solid player off the bench. Get you 8 to 10 a game.
Mhm.
He does defend pretty well, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to say he's always been even at Northridge. He was a pretty
Yes.
good defender. So
Yeah. Let's see, number 19, 18 for me. I have William Kyle III from South Dakota State. Really solid big man. Can really rebound the ball, really fish from inside, really good rim protector, and I think he has athleticism to move up a level. Um, did you watch the South Dakota State Iowa State game at all?
I didn't get to. I was
I
in the
was gonna say,
car.
I have you ever seen his free throw shooting form?
No, I haven't. What?
It's pretty bad.
When I've watched them
I
play,
will
he
say
never gets to
that.
the line, so I
It's
don't
probably a
know.
good thing. You don't really want to see that, but he's a very good player. All free
Hack a
throw.
William.
Yeah. He's not a great free throw shooter. He's like 60%, but his form is arguably worse than his percentage. But yeah, he's really good. Has been really good both years. South Dakota State. Really physical, rim protection, efficiency. Kind of gives you all those things you want. Um, Wonder if him and Frankie Fiddler could potentially team up somewhere. They both played in high school together, as did
Interesting.
Chucky Hepburn. I wonder if those three are going to try to team up somewhere. That would be fun to see.
It would be.
I don't know where and how that would work out, but that would be fun to see if given this situation.
So at 17, I have Francis Nicoria from UCSD. Um, love his game, really
Yes.
versatile, has good size, can score at all three levels actually. Even
Mhm.
though maybe he's not, I don't know how he was from three percentage wise, but I've seen him take and make them.
Yeah, he
Um,
can he can make that.
he probably takes a little too many, but UCSD offensively was looking for answers when I watched them against San Diego State and things. They didn't have what's his name back, Tyler McGee.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
when they got him back, they unlocked a whole new element
Yes,
offensively.
yes, yes.
Um, so Nicoria was taking a lot of shots that, he probably didn't need to take at the time, or they needed him to take them. So I mean, I like how he translates. I think he's definitely a Power Five player. And yeah, no, I think he's going to be a real offensive weapon. Um,
Yeah. I honestly really like him. I did not have him on my list, but he can score from all three levels, has some decent size for like a four. Um, he is from Minnesota. I think they could use him. Just throwing that out there, nothing concrete, considering he went to UC San Diego, but yeah, definitely think that some teams can use him. Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
17?
Uh, um, I had Leighton Blocker at 17.
Okay. I have William Kyle at 16.
Yeah, 16. I have Nicoria, his teammate Bryce Pope can really score the ball. That's kind of his calling card. It's sort of all he does, but he can really be a good volume scorer when you need to. Uh, Another guy that can score from all three levels. Wasn't always the most efficient, but considering how much of a volume scorer he was, I don't think his efficiency is a problem. Um,
Yeah, I
Slightly
mean,
undersized,
at a Power
maybe.
Five, his volume will be
Yeah.
normal. So you don't have to worry about that, I don't think. He's a really crafty scorer. He's got
Yes.
so many moves. Really, really fun to watch. I
Yes.
love his game, and I actually had him at 15, spot ahead of you. But
Well, now that we go into that, I had 15. I had DJ Davis from Butler. Pretty solid shooter, scorer. Kind of the same thing, honestly. Kind of a similar situation um, with Davis. A little bit more of a facilitator, but definitely another kind of like undersized scorer, can score from kind of all three levels. Davis was actually really good this year at Butler.
he was,
A guy
yeah.
that took a step up and kind of just kept the same
He tailed
role.
off at the end of the year a bit, but at the same time, um, so did the entire Butler team.
Yes, they did that.
So I definitely forgot to put him on here. I'd have him around this range as well. But at 14, I have Darren Boyd from Lipscomb.
Okay,
I
just
like
outside for me.
him a lot. He's a really strong guy, really good efficiency wise, 51%. 6'3", 6'4". I think he
Mhm.
shot like what from 346%. Might actually be
Yes, he
better than
was he was
that.
pretty efficient. Not
Um,
crazy volume, but actually it was pretty solid volume.
yeah, I'm about to say
Yeah,
solid
he didn't
volume.
he didn't play that many games. Or he didn't play like all the games. He missed a few few
Yeah.
chunks, so his
I
overall
think his
numbers
game
are
can translate because he's really strong.
yeah.
He can handle the physicality at the Power Five level. And I really think he's ready to translate up, especially with
Yeah.
the shooting as well. So
It's very efficient this year. Um, I mean, Lipscomb was a very efficient offensive shooting team overall. He definitely was a big key for that when he was playing. Efficient from all three levels, and yeah, pretty strong for his size. Probably going to be best utilized as an off-ball guard at at a higher level. Interested to see where he ends up. But number 14, I had Justin Abson from Appalachian State. Didn't put up like crazy scoring numbers. He averaged like 7 points a game, but he is a dominant rim protector, elite athlete. I think he can average like 7 points a game anywhere in the country and still be an elite defender. A lot of schools could use him. About any school in the country could use someone like him who's just a elite rim protector, good athlete, tons of size. Can't really go wrong with Abson.
Yeah, I have him very high. So at 13, I got Michi Johnson. You know what you're gonna get from him. A lot of shot chucking. But you know, he has his games where he cannot miss. He has games where he he is just on another level, and you'll take that. He's not as tall as I thought he was. He's 6'2" or something, which is
Yeah,
surprising to me.
he's not that tall.
He looks like he's taller when I watch him, but yeah, defensively, was he part of the improvement of South Carolina
I
defensively?
mean, defensively, I don't know. I know it's a big part for the improvement of South Carolina as a whole, though. I
Yeah,
mean,
for
he
sure.
really stepped up offensively at least.
I'm curious where he goes. I'm surprised he's transferring really, but
Yeah. Um, but if he can get it bagged, then don't see
back
a
to
problem for him.
Ohio State.
I've heard some people like talk about that. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but
Yeah, who
like
knows?
I wouldn't completely count it out, depending on whatever happens at all those schools. But number 13, I had Igor Milicic from Charlotte. Really efficient from all three levels. Can shoot the ball for his size. Really good shooter for his size, in fact. Um, Solid rim protector too. Not elite, but can definitely hold his own down there. And yeah, I mean, former power conference player, definitely think he can make that move back up
Doesn't he play on the perimeter
a
out
little
there?
bit.
Because yeah, that's why he shot like a 49% from the field, which is a little low for me.
He was really efficient though. He just shot a lot of threes.
Yeah,
He shot like
exactly. He was on the
63
perimeter a
percent.
bit.
He shot 63% from inside arc and
Oh,
38%
okay.
from three. So he was
Man,
efficient from all
that's
levels. Really good like true shooting percentage.
that's
Um
yeah. He was someone I probably definitely wanted to put on here, but I didn't. So at 12, I have Colby King.
he
Someone I
was
like a
just
lot. Um, think he's ready for a step up. You know, obviously he can work on his defense, but you know, with Tulane and Ron Hunter, that's non-existent. So, yeah, I think maybe him with a defensive coach, someone that can work on that end for him. You could plug him in off the bench. He could honestly start at certain Power Fives. You know, maybe not great ones, but at the same time, if he does want a big role, he could find it. But yeah, he's someone's upside that I like a lot, and he's got a lot of eligibility too. So
yep, so 2 more years. Yeah, I think he just says two. But number 12 for me, I have Jordan Sears. Put up some big time numbers here at UT Martin. Really good shooter. Was kind of leader of their fast paced offense. Good facilitator too. Really not many bad things to say about him. He's 5'11", but like for a point guard, I don't think that's too much of a glaring issue. Maybe defensively it could be, but UT Martin wasn't a team known for defense, but he still led a very solid major offense, can shoot the ball, could get to the rim. Kind of, yeah, not too much bad things to say about
a team will
Sears.
take on his defensive weaknesses for what he gives. You
Yeah,
know, definitely. I think if they have good defenders around him, they'll take him.
yes.
So at 11, I got Noah Reynolds, from
Okay.
Green Bay.
He
Someone
was
who can
really good this
flat
year.
out score the ball. 20 a game on like 51% shooting,
Yeah,
which
he was
is
very
pretty
efficient.
insane.
Very good
You know,
facilitator too. Had one of the highest assist rates in the country.
yeah, yeah. the reason I didn't have him higher because he's really not played at the Power 5 level yet. I know he's ready, but I got to
Yeah,
see him there. And he's
yeah,
6'3". I think his defense could be a little better.
yeah. I mean, he played at Wyoming, showed some flashes, but also that was a crazy year for Wyoming when every single guy in their team got like 10 injuries,
uh,
including him. But yeah, I think he is a really good scorer, really good facilitator. I mean, he was committed to Wisconsin this year, so or last offseason before he flipped to Green Bay. So definitely
uh,
someone who can play at a high level. But number 11, I have Marcus Warwick. Has been a really good player for a long time for Northern Kentucky. Um, Not ultra efficient this year, but again, he was kind of their main guy in offense. Um, yeah, just solid player all around the court.
where do you see him?
What?
Where do you see him? I just
I don't
don't.
know. He's from Lexington. I don't know if Kentucky wants him. I mean, that wouldn't be a
I
bad pickup.
I see. I
It would
think
be
it
an
would
odd
be.
fit for him. I
I
I think I think he should go somewhere else more than Kentucky should take someone else.
Yeah.
But
I
I don't
just
think that'd be a
he's
bad
really
pickup. But
small.
yeah,
Um,
and that is
his
that is one
defense
thing.
is decent, I think. I mean, I know Northern Kentucky is a
Yeah, I
great
mean Northern
defensive
Kentucky's
team.
had some decent defensive
Um,
teams.
I don't know. I think he's a bit of a shot chucker at times. I actually didn't have him on my list, believe it or
Really,
not.
I disagree
I
with
I
that quite a
worry
bit.
how he translates at the Power 5
Yeah,
level more than
he can
Reynolds.
he can really score though. He wasn't like super inefficient. He just wasn't ultra
Yeah,
efficient.
I
He was
guess.
his efficiency is actually fine, honestly, but his 3-point shooting wasn't what you would want it to be this year.
Hmm.
That is the one thing. I'm a big guy, work guy.
So at 9, I mean at 10, I have Alston Mason, someone who I really like. I think he can get his shots up over taller defenders. He did that really well in the Missouri Valley. I love his game. 3-level scorer, can slash. He's really quick and lanky. I think that wingspan can really, you can really tap into that, and that's kind of a reason he's able to play a little bit bigger than he is, it's because of that wingspan. So, someone I really like, definitely maybe higher, on him than some people, but.
Yeah, 10 I had no Reynolds.
Okay. 9, I had Jordan Durkak from Merrimack, someone who I love the upside of, even though he was in the NEC, 6'5" combo guard, is good size, good strength,
Mhm.
17 a game, 46% shooting, good efficiency is the number one option. And yeah, I mean, the offers he will get might surprise some people, because
He's very good.
if coaches watch his film, it's not gonna lie. His film is very good. You look at Javon Bennett, who was at Merrimack, and he got a nice offer to Dayton, and he's taken on a huge role there, and he was very good for them.
Mhm.
So the Merrimack guards, I think, translate up very well, and I think Durkak's going to be another one of those. But I think he's a power five. I do because he's got more
I would
size.
agree with that. Good size, very good on defense, pretty good in offense. Merrimack was not known for their offense, but he definitely
Right.
was not the issue. 3-point shooting is a little bit questionable. I definitely think that could improve under the
Ish.
right situation. But yeah, efficient scorer overall, was a good passer, kind of played the facilitator role quite a bit this year. And yeah, I think he could definitely be a good fit at some pretty good power conference schools, honestly. But yeah, yeah, number 9. Sorry there. Otega away. I have Otega away number 9. Kind of fell off at the end of the season. It was really good to start. Honestly, could have him higher. He's elite on defense. Offensive is a little up and down. Was good overall this year, but was pretty bad last year. So definitely like to see that improve. I like
Hmm.
that did improve. But yeah, it was very inconsistent the second half of the season, as was Oklahoma as a team, which
I
he
think
kind of his hot
Porter.
streak kind of ended
Porter kind of lost the locker room. At least I feel like. They just seem really
potentially.
disinterested. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, especially towards the end. And
Yeah,
Where's Porter?
he's
Did he
still at
leave yet?
Oklahoma. He's still at
All
Oklahoma.
right, well, he's gonna leave
Yeah,
at some point. At least I
eventually.
think so.
But yeah, Owe was bad in conference play, but still a good defender no matter the situation. Has
Me and
really good.
me and PSP were talking. Penn State Nittany Lion.
How did they not get him when he
I
was in high
know.
school? Like
Um,
they had him and they just didn't get
they
him.
had his damn
Um,
brother as a freaking offensive
they
player.
took him just to get him basically, and
I
like they
know.
had like all the crystal ball action.
I'd be so happy if we got him, man. I have him at number 2 on mine.
Second
Just
time's a
spoil
charm.
that. Um, Number 8, I have Rightus Petritus.
I have him
I have
higher than
him
that.
very high. I had a feeling you'd have him higher too, but
I'm
I
a
think
big Red Stripes.
he is awesome, man. All three
He can do
levels of the
everything. He can
score.
do
He really
everything.
can do everything. Like if you watch him,
Yeah.
he's a
This
great
this
passer
shot
too.
is still developing, but like he can make a three if you
He has
give
some
it to
big
him.
ones, and he had an awfully big one against New Mexico too.
He
Um,
did.
he's a great off-ball cutter as well. I think that's something that coaches love, guys who can move without the basketball.
Mhm.
He's very unselfish as well. He's just, and he's got great size. I think he's a Power Five coach's dream. I really do.
Like I don't know like why you wouldn't take him. Like if you're a Power Five school, he does everything. He can score the ball, pretty efficient, really good rebounder, really good passer, really good defender, and like he's been playing out of position. Like he's been playing the center for Air Force because they don't have a
Yeah,
big man. Like he's probably more of like a 3-4 kind of combo forward who can do like everything, can
and I think
run the
Rice
point a little
Petritis
bit.
is in debt to Joe Scott for making him such a well-rounded player. Joe Scott makes well-rounded players. Like that's what he
Yes.
does.
I mean, yeah, Air
Love.
Force, you can't do anything there because you're in a good conference and you can't recruit hardly. So
Hmm.
yes, Joe Scott has to develop different ways, and yeah, Trice was really good as a freshman. Was hurt at the beginning of the year, but once he came back, was a really good player. Yeah, don't have any complaints about him. Would really want him at any power conference school, honestly. Um,
Yeah, I had Jordan Sears at 7.
okay, so I had Durkak at 8. We already talked about Jordan Sears.
All
7, I
right.
have Kobe Johnson
Okay.
from USC. Really good defender. Um, I think he's another guy you can take at any power conference school. USC was obviously pretty bad this year, but I mean,
Kobe
he just,
Johnson was a little disappointing this year for me, but I think it was a
yeah,
big reason because of just USC just being in the tank.
yeah, he was still like so good on defense. Took on a
Of
little bit of a
course.
bigger role offensively, didn't really pan out, but I
I
think
think he
he's,
can be a really good offensive player somewhere,
yeah,
though.
like he's not a complete liability
He's got
offensively.
skills for sure.
Yeah.
So
So
at 6, I have Cliff Marui at 6.
I had him at 1. Just
Bit of a down year for him.
yeah,
I think partially that was due to Rutgers. Um, but at the same time, like, he just had games where he was just not aggressive. His defense is always good. Um,
yeah, he's one of the best rim protectors in the country, no
yeah,
matter
right. I mean,
where he
you'll
is.
recruit him for his
Elite
rim
rebounder
protection.
too. Just around the
Um,
rim, defensively, he gets everything.
yeah. I think his finishing could have been a little better this year.
That's what you want to see improve.
So that's why I had him at 6.
But yeah, I have him at 1. I think he's just so good defensively, elite big man. Like he's shown flash of being efficient around the rim offensively, even though he wasn't like super consistently. I think he can be a great player, especially if he goes to a school that's losing a very good big man up in that same area.
Wonder who that is.
I wonder. Yeah, number 6. So I have Kate Tyson. Really like him. Super efficient from
Oh, his
both
efficiency
levels.
splits are
Can
unbelievable.
really shoot from three. Can score solidly from inside the arc as well.
If he was a little bigger, like his brother, like he's 6'7", if he was like 6'9" or 6'10", he would have been easy top 3 on my list. But I
Yeah,
just think,
still perfect size for a 4 though. 4-3
yeah, I
4.
guess he can be a 4 or a 3. You just got to figure out where you
Definitely
want to
not a
put him.
5. Definitely not a
No,
5.
definitely not a 5. But
But yeah,
just got to figure out where Power Fives want to put him. So
yeah. Is he is Hunter Tyson's brother?
yes.
Okay, that
Hmm.
makes sense.
Yeah, they look kind of alike.
Yeah.
So at 5 I have Tyson. At 4 I have Justin
Okay. And at
Afson.
5, I had Petritus. Okay.
So I have
4,
Afson at 4.
Epson.
I think.
Okay. 4, I had Michi.
Okay.
I
All right.
think, I mean, he was just number one option. I think he was
Sure.
South Carolina's number one option on like a pretty good team and scored a ball. I mean, high major proven like number one or two option, I feel like.
Yeah.
So
So at
can't really go
3
wrong.
I have Kobe Johnson.
3, I have JP Pegues. He
Interesting.
was. Did you not have him on your list,
He's
or do you
very
have him?
undersized. I don't think
I mean,
he's.
he's a point guard. He's 6'1". It's not crazy.
Is he good on
He's.
defense like at all?
I mean, I don't
I
know.
don't know. I just think it's ultra high for someone like that.
I
I
mean,
don't know.
he
There's
put up
better
some.
versions of him out there. At least I feel like on this list. Like I think I take Jordan Sears over him.
I mean, Pegues is bigger than Sears. I mean,
Yeah, but
played in
I
a
mean
better team.
Sears played more, he had more volume and he was more efficient.
Uh, I wouldn't say he was more efficient, but I mean, he's obviously at that. He was the one who had
You
that
would
shot
take him over
last
Noah
year.
Reynolds?
I mean, he's been playing at a higher level.
I mean Noah Reynolds is like 20 a game, 50%. The
I mean,
SoCon's not
he's
that
averaged
much
like
better.
18.
The SoCon's not that much better than the Horizon League, if at all. I don't know. That's just my
It's
take.
definitely better than Horizon, but I mean, he's averaged like 18, 4, and 5 on solid efficiency. I'll check out his defense. I mean,
I like Foster more than him. I do. I'm very big on Foster actually.
okay. I don't know. I
Because
really
Foster
like Pegues.
defends. Foster's 3 and D. He can create too. Um, I don't know.
I think Pegues is going to be really good at a high major, but
Where do
to
you
each
see
their
him?
own. I don't know, but I think whoever he is, I don't know exactly. I saw an interest list for him. I don't remember what schools were
Okay.
on it, but I'll find it. There's some good schools that are reaching out to him. Let me pull it up. Like Auburn, Arkansas, Mizzou, LSU, K-State, Virginia, Virginia Tech, Villanova, South Carolina, Texas Tech, Illinois, Oklahoma, Clemson, Seton Hall, and Davidson. So definitely attracting some good interest. I think he's one of the best players in the portal right now.
Hmm, interesting.
So
I have a Tega
yeah,
OA at 2.
yeah. Then pretty sure I know you have a number one. But yeah, it's probably the guy I have it too. Is that Keyshawn Hall from George Mason? Um, disappeared kind of down the stretch. I don't know like what happened exactly with that.
George Mason was such a
Um,
weird team, dude. Don't even get me started with them.
but Hall is really good. Don't know if that was off the court stuff, speculation, but whatever. But yeah, he is really good. Really transformed just his body and his game from coming to UNLV to George Mason.
He was fat
Um,
at UNLV.
he absolutely can't really get around that
He
one.
was like a 4. Now he's like a
Yeah,
2
he
or a
was.
1.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
incredible.
he can play 1 through 5 though, honestly.
Yeah,
Like
I
I
mean,
think, I mean, don't not like really a true point guard, but can definitely bring the ball up the court a little bit. Has that skill, has that like ball handling skill. Um, yeah, can really get to the rim, can really draw contact, can finish there. Um, athletic, long, yeah, really changed his body, and he was like
I
really
think
like
he's
big,
just
and now he's
scratching the
just
surface of what
athletic.
he can
Yes.
become. I think George Mason's offensive system and how slow paced they were definitely held him back even. I feel like, he
Yeah.
was 17 a game on 46%, but like I
Hmm.
think he can do that at a power 5 level. I think
Yeah.
he's
I
that
mean,
good.
yeah,
Um,
I
he's
absolutely.
so I think his first step is so quick.
Hmm.
He's really shifty in the lane. He's got a really good hop step. He's got a really good step back. He's good at all 3 levels. I think he was my clear number 1. I just think
Okay.
his ceiling is so high. And even at the Power 5 level, he's gonna get a lot of money thrown at him, and I think he's an NBA player after this year
Yeah. I mean,
for sure.
he was like a portal slash draft guy.
Yeah,
Uh,
he's gonna get shoot, I mean, he could land on some boards this year. I'm not even gonna lie.
maybe. I mean, the
It's
draft
just
is
like
so bad.
right. He could be a play, but I'd like to see him come back. I'd like to see
Yeah,
him play at the Power Five. But that's just me selfishly. But
yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know if he's fully ready for the NBA. Yeah. Anyone else you want to talk about? I'll just scroll through some names. Rowan Brumbaugh. I think he could be a solid point guard somewhere.
mm,
Grant Huffman, another guy that can be a solid point guard somewhere. Um, um, Cam Crap didn't play this year. I was high on him in high school.
oh, Cam Craft.
Let's see. Kai Robinson didn't do like anything
A
immaculate.
dude's means in the world
Yeah,
from Xavier.
yeah,
Solid big.
Usman. Yeah, he was really good in North Texas. Solid at Xavier. Um, Mawat Meg, solid role player. Definitely still a high major guy, just not like super high ceiling, but I think you know
Yeah.
what you're getting from him and you're getting some solid defensive play. You'll definitely take that. Um, let's see. Scrolling through the whole list. Will Brantley was pretty solid. LaSalle. Him and
Yeah.
Marcus was a solid backcourt there. Chad Venning, solid big man at St. Bonaventure.
Sky Clark.
Yeah, Sky Clark. I don't.
He has his games where he does look good. I remember that one game against
Yeah, I
NC
mean he's a
State
very
where
talented player, but I really don't care about
I get
Sky
it.
Clark.
How about RT Stapleton? Wasn't he pretty good this
He
year?
was really good in D2 last year.
I
Didn't I
remember
don't
that. I
think he
remember
really
covering
lived up
him.
to his potential, but
Von Cameron
definitely think
Davis
there's
is going to be pretty
yes.
solid somewhere. A little undersized, but you know, he should still be pretty good.
Yeah, Keon Thompson, very solid like point guard option from
hmm
UMass.
Ty
Jonathan Lamoth,
Tyree Iheanacho, former James Madison player.
yes,
Um,
former North Dakota player times two.
I'm sure
He
he has been
did,
there
yes.
twice. I don't know where he goes.
We'll see. Maybe James Madison. Maybe he goes for round two
Two
there
and
as well.
two.
Dewan Odom from Georgia State, really physical guard, good passer. Like him at Xavier.
Yeah, he's fallen off a bit. He's
He
disappointed
was
me.
good at. He was solid this year. He just kind of is who he is.
Yeah.
He's a
Angelo
good point
Brizzi.
guard. Yeah. Um, let's see. Who else
William
do we
Jeffress is
have?
interesting. I didn't hate
Yeah,
him.
he was solid at times. Miles Che from Chattanooga, freshman this year. I think he's going to be really good in the
I think
future.
Jameel Brown's going to be very good for Temple. I think he's a Temple Owl.
I could
I
see that, and I
I
could see
think
that
they
working.
really need I mean they love shooting, so I think he fits in great. I think what happened this year is he got bumped down when Rhodes bought in that huge crop of portal class. Jameel Brown was good in the minutes he played. I mean, he
Yeah.
shot the ball really well. Defensively, he's obviously not going to be great, but like you know that.
Hmm.
But he plays his role very well, and I see Temple really pursuing him.
Yeah.
So
Max Jones was a pretty solid player at Fullerton.
your boy Primo.
Not a big Primo Spears guy myself. Wherever he goes, automatically becomes a losing team. He's talented. He's talented.
CJ Booker from UTRGV, I think
Yeah.
was
Shy
decent.
Odom from Howard is pretty solid. Was a little hurt this year, but
Yeah, he
very
was a little
physical.
underwhelming.
Yeah, definitely someone who can play at the high major level just because of his pure size and physicality. Isn't he the son of Lamar Odom?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Nick McMullen's actually pretty decent for what he is.
Yeah,
He's a really physical role player. Isn't he like a rim protector of some kind? He's a big,
yeah, it's
right?
kind of like yeah. I mean, it was kind of
Um,
tough. He's playing with Pember. He was like,
yeah, I know.
but yeah,
He was the
he's a
defender of
solid.
the
He's a
two.
solid big man there. Daniel Rivera from Bryant,
I like him.
another solid
No.
big man defender, big body.
How about a Janie Lee? I remember hyping him up a little
Yeah,
bit.
I don't know. He definitely has like the size, but I he don't know how good he was this year.
Wayne McKinney from San Diego and Deuce Turner are both in.
Yeah,
Solid
solid,
guards.
solid players there. Federico, very solid guy. You know what you're gonna get from him. You're gonna get
Good rim
solid
protection.
defense. Not gonna do much in offense, but he's not gonna do anything bad in offense.
Zach Martini's getting some Power 5 interest as well.
Yeah,
Pretty good
he can be a
shooter.
solid
Mhm.
bench player. Their Garway Dual was bad at Providence, but someone I think could hypothetically be good. I was high on him. Didn't really pan out, but like
Uh,
you can
weird,
see what's
weird
there.
year. Caden
Yeah,
Powell from Wyoming, I kind of like,
yeah,
for what he
pretty
is.
decent big man.
Um,
Jean Aranguren. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but he was an Iona freshman. Pretty solid guard there. Averaged 8 points a game for Iona as a freshman.
Jaden Brewer was actually pretty good in FIU, if I'm not mistaken,
I
this
believe so.
year. He was one of their more efficient scorers.
Yeah,
He's got a really good shot creating bag.
yeah.
Priest Ryan, Coppin State. Actually, the one player on Coppin State I actually do like. Young. He's got a lot of
Yeah,
years of
got a lot
eligibility.
of 3 years left.
Um,
Was okay when he played this year.
he played at the Perk School with Xavier Lee, I believe, and Thomas Howe. So I think he can slowly take a couple steps up.
I could
I,
see that.
and because I do think one of the couple times I decided to watch Coppin State this year, he looked pretty good. So
I
I don't
didn't
know.
decide to watch Coppin State at all this year,
Yeah, I
but
made a mistake of doing that.
yeah. Nana Wuso Anane, pretty solid big man coming from Brown. I think some schools will want him. Few Xavier freshmen didn't play much. Sasa Siani and Kachi Enze, both big men.
I saw AJ Smith getting some solid interest from the
Yeah, AJ
Citadel.
Smith. There's actually two AJ Smiths in the portal. The other one from Southern Indiana, but a good one from the Citadel. He was a guy that just missed my list. He's very good. Had a
Hmm
breakout year two. Definitely someone I'm high on. Andrew Morgan was really good at North Dakota State this year. A big man.
Justin Porter from Middle Tennessee should be a solid pickup for somebody. Um,
Yes. Um, Martez Robinson, Delaware State, really good player from there. Well, I wonder how he'll translate, but he was pretty good at Delaware State.
hmm
Anyone else?
You liked Desante Bowen, didn't you?
I don't hate
He
him.
didn't
I
really
mean,
play. Yeah,
yeah.
that's the thing. Or preseason, I think you
Mike
liked him.
James from Louisville, another guy from there.
I've been hearing
Alex
Miami
Williams.
interests with Mike James.
I don't think
I'd hope not.
Um, Alex Williams, though, pretty solid player from
Yeah,
Furman, good shooter on the wing there. Nico Galletti, good player at Sacred Heart. Connor Enright, I'm a big Connor Enright
that's
guy.
right.
I will say that. Don't know where
Do
he
you
goes. Don't
do you
think he's
think he
like
could go Power 5?
I don't think so, but I wouldn't like be opposed to West Virginia taking him, but I also would be opposed to him going to another Power Five school that isn't West Virginia. So
Yeah, true.
if that makes sense.
Andre Weir was a solid big man. He didn't play much this year. He was hurt. But he can rim protect.
Yeah,
He's good on the glass, very efficient.
yes. Jeff Woodward's he's pretty good. Jeff
He
Woodward,
is. I like Woodward.
skilled big man kind of. Anyone else?
Not really.
Drew Thelwell was pretty good, and Mark
Oh yeah.
Freeman.
I'm about to say they're both
Freeman
in.
could have made my list. I just didn't know. I didn't love him considering he was a player of the year, but I also don't know what his like injury status is like.
Yeah, he hasn't played in
But
a year.
I think he can be a pretty good player if
He
he gets
could
the
be.
right fit.
Yeah.
Isaiah Hawthorne was decent at San Francisco.
Jalen
Darius,
Solinger, Kent State at big volume. I don't
yes,
love him, but
he's pretty solid.
yeah.
Darius Burford from Illinois State, solid. I think that about wraps up. Marcus Adams is in the
Yeah.
portal for like the 50th time in 2 years. That's gonna happen no matter what.
hmm
But yeah, anyone else, or is that going to
That's
be
really
the
it. No, I love this. Honestly, this is so refreshing from Themis Folks from Louisiana, solid wing.
he's a
Um,
point guard? but
Yeah, it's true.
solid distributor, but
Yeah,
don't love him overall.
No, I don't
He's a
either.
good
He's
passer,
very
though.
inefficient.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, I mean, what a batch of portal guys today.
Yeah, I mean, Monday,
My goodness,
today the injuries
man.
were good. Today there were a lot of good guys.
Ramel Lloyd and Eli Rice from Nebraska,
Yeah,
two
don't hate
quality
either of those
guys.
guys. Lloyd has never played yet in college. Wonder.
Yeah, I know. He's
Like,
always just hurt or whatever. I don't know.
yeah. Christian Wright from Oregon State. I don't know if he was
I
good
remember when he was their
enough,
starting
but
point guard for a while last year.
yeah.
That was bad.
Rafael Castro from Providence.
Yeah,
Solid
I
mid-major big. I think he will
I
be.
think he is. Yeah. He just didn't get many opportunities at Providence, but
Yeah, Maduro was really good.
yeah, I mean, there's very good.
Yeah, but
And then he's
yeah,
behind Croswell too, 2 years ago.
It was all. He was really good. He was so underrated.
He
But
was.
yeah, so I think that about wraps up Portal Bonanza for today. A lot of portal entries. We talked about a lot of guys. Made a big list. Hopefully tomorrow the list will be a little smaller because
Exhausting.
we won't have like 5 days to go through. But yeah, some more commitments off the board, some more transfers off the board, more transfers on the board. But
Coaching changes.
yeah, coaching
Everything's been going
changes.
on.
Yep, Sprinkle to Washington,
Byington to
Byington,
Vandy,
Vanderbilt, like
Kyle
both of
Smith,
those. Kyle Smith,
Stanford.
Stanford, like all three of those. But yeah, we will talk about more transfer portal tomorrow. So make sure you keep up to date with all of our social media accounts at Hoopscoop Media, Instagram, Twitter. Well, that's about it. But we're definitely posting some solid content. Maybe we'll get to TikTok going up again. We never really got that going up, even though we have an account.
Yeah, I guess there's been
Maybe
a
we'll
couple.
post like reactions to players committing in the portal. That's what I wanted to
Minsky
do.
hogs all the views on there, man. There's just not many
We
views
got
to
to
go
break the
around.
algorithm. We got to break the algorithm. But yeah. So that's the podcast for today. Portal Bonanza. Make sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts, bookmark it, whatever you do. Maybe spread the word. We put in a lot of effort. Don't see many other people ranking all these transfers, talking about the whole portal, and everyone loves the portal. So if you're listening
If
to
you
this
guys
and you
saw this
love the
transfer
portal,
database, you guys would be
we
terrified.
it's a good way to keep track of everyone's stats. So
It
yeah,
is. It is.
a lot of information that we've been gathering to do these podcasts and just follow transfer portal in general. But yeah, we will see you tomorrow for another episode of Portal Bonanza. But till then, yeah, make sure again follow all of our social media accounts in case you missed me saying that 1 minute ago. But yeah, I'm not that great at ending podcasts. So we're just going to end it right here.